When you're ready to activate that full steam ahead type of vibration, the fire element is where you want to tap in. I love the fire element because it's all about, well, it's about a lot of things, but creation and firing up my passion and my intent and bringing things out in the world and really, really enjoying it and thriving.
Full transparency, I'm lacking some of that right now. So let's see how this rolls.
She's in the more water element, flowy place.
Yes.
But that is good. So that's like a perfect segue. Today we're going to talk about the 5 powers that you can really tap into with fire energy. And water is a really good thing if you're getting too fiery. If you have like you're out of control type of fire energy, water is your perfect place to be. So this is really a good balance for life in general and for this video, I would say.
Yeah, because this fire thing is a lot to unpack. A lot to unpack. And I'm just not there, but that's okay. We'll see.
The short version of our thoughts on, well, my thoughts on paper. And your added. Well, you don't have thoughts right now. You're just rolling.
I'm rolling.
Got it.
I'm
All right.
flowing.
The first power is the power of transformation. As we all know, fire can destroy in a heartbeat, and it can also transform things into something new. So it clears the space, it clears the way for things to come in.
Yeah, it falls in that line of, you need some level of destruction in order to rebuild or destroy what's there to rebuild something that you really want.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yep, and you'll see this a lot like in farming. I don't know if you've ever heard of that, where they burn the fields, they burn the crops. And I mean, they do this after they've harvested what they need to clear out the rest of the plant debris, and then it breaks it down and it really nourishes the soil. I was just going to say the soul. So I mean, this is what all this stuff mimics life. That's why we work with these elements. So when you burn down things like burning cords that you don't need, burning away old beliefs, burning away old thought forms of who you think that you or who you thought you were, and stepping into who you are right now. These are all ways like we burn our own energetic fields basically and re-nourish our soul. Now I'm going back to the soil part. And this allows for the new plants to come up. It clears the space for the new. So it'll clear the way for you energetically to bring in what you want.
Well, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so it's like death and rebirth and that beautiful balance between the two, which is why you should have a lot of respect for fire. A lot of respect for fire. We all know you play with fire, you get burned, they say all the time. You shouldn't play with fire. You should show up with fire. You should honor fire. You should serve fire, not allow it to just burn out of control and roll over everything.
It's just like with anything. You have to have a level of respect for the things around you and the people around you, and that goes the same with the elements. You have to respect them, you have to honor them, you have to, because again, they're a part of us, and if we're not respecting that, we're not respecting ourselves. So we want to be able to do that. And when you're messing around with fire elements, be cautious.
Yes, big caution, big word of caution. So this transformation power could be really good if you do cord cutting. We actually did a video on cord cutting a week or so ago. We'll link it up above in case that is helpful for you.
Check it out.
Yeah, it was interesting the way it evolved.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, you should really check it out. Also, if you go into a sauna or like a sweat lodge type of thing, you're using that fire to release impurities and toxins from your system. So fire is a great way, if you're working with it, to release things in your energy field that you no longer need.
We did a sweat lodge once. That was very interesting. Yeah. It's very eye-opening.
I've done several. It's a different experience every time.
Yeah, for someone who doesn't like being like sticky hot and all that stuff, I had to get past the physical limitations I had, and once I got past that, the journey was fantastic.
Yeah, and that leads us into another power, which is the power of divine will, because at some point you have to surrender to that power of fire. And air because and water because it's the evaporation and the air is feeding the fire and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So it gives you all the elements in one in this small space. And yeah, you just have to truly surrender to divine will. The awesome thing with the power of divine will is that fire can illuminate the things that you can't see. So if you are feeling stuck, stagnant, any of those types of things, if you sit with fire, like I've been in front of like many campfire bonfires outside, and you could just sit there and just like stare into the fire forever. It's mesmerizing, it's relaxing, it's calming.
Yeah, I just recently came into that because, being a city kid and all that stuff, that wasn't something that was natural or around me. And when we got to do some of that stuff with camping, and which that was new to me too. And
She's not a fan.
yeah, and then in the fire took place, I really highly enjoyed that. That was very meditative. I thought it to be meditative. The sound of the crackling wood and all that stuff. It was great. I totally enjoyed it. I never thought of it as being part of something that you can use for transmute change in your life, and until that point, and it's like, wow, okay. You can work with this shit.
Yeah, it's really powerful. All the different colors, you can start to see like different shapes and faces in the fire and that type of thing.
Yeah.
It really it's almost like trance-inducing.
Right.
And if you are a city person and you can't get to like the country or out to a fire or anything like that, a lot of people do candle gazing, where you're just gazing into the flame. It's the same thing. It's not as big or as awesome as I like, but
Yeah.
but sometimes small and simple. That's a really good
Yeah, I
lesson.
never thought of candle gazing. I mean, I definitely have burned candles and all that, but never thought about doing that. I think I did that maybe once in a ritual that we did together years and years and years ago. I think that was the only one time that I ever did that. Yeah, it's interesting stuff.
And if you're finding great value in this and it's really lighting you up, please like and subscribe. It really helps us grow the channel, and we truly, truly appreciate it. I mean, fire in control is very, very powerful, but fire out of control can be very devastating or much more powerful. It depends on what is needed in the situation.
Right. I mean, like, if you think about it, like, if you're making choices that are affecting your life, that are affecting the people around you, and you've heard me say this before, creating a dumpster fire, that's a problem. You want to be able to respect these things. When things come up in your life and you're creating that kind of energy, you're not respecting the elements of things, like, i.e. the fire element, yourself. So think about it as being more of the, okay, if something comes up, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to see what's going on, I'm going to assess, and instead of reacting, again, getting curious and ask yourself some deep questions as to why you have that want to create a dumpster fire instead of making better choices.
Exactly. All right, and the next one is the power of drive. This is like that inner spark, that passion, that thing that just literally lights you up.
Yeah.
Fanning that flame of why you're walking this path, why you're here on this earth, and bringing it forward. And notice we said fanning the flame, so fire needs air. So you're fanning whatever that passion is to bring it out. So how do you fan something? How do you add more air to something? Breath work is really vital in this. Mm-hmm. If you've ever done the breath of fire, word of caution with that too, when you first start, you will
you might pass out.
You think you will, you won't.
Some people have passed out.
I've never witnessed that, but okay, I take your word for it. That's when you just slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
You don't have to like full on breath of fire like you see the yogis do it to begin with.
You have some folks who really get into it, and like into it, and they won't stop, and they pass out.
It is that powerful. Yeah, so look up breath of fire and try that, and that ignites. If you have something you're trying to bring out in the world, like starting a new business or a new hobby or even a new relationship, like if you're fanning the flame of a new friendship or partnership with somebody, this is perfect. The breath work is just so powerful to get that going.
It gets you super focused,
It
which is
does.
great.
Yes.
Especially when you want to achieve something. So
yeah. So if you're feeling like kind of unmotivated, breath of fire helps with that. That whole, it's just, it's a feeling. You can tell I have it.
yeah.
I do it daily, and it's always part of my morning routine. So
I don't do it that way. I do other breath work, but not breath of fire.
maybe you should try it. I don't know.
I've tried it. It's okay for me. I don't like the feeling dizziness, and maybe that's a resistance. Something I need to look at.
It is a resistance because the feeling of dizziness goes away after you've practiced. Just like anything is hard and uncomfortable, and you can poo it away that it doesn't work for me. I mean, maybe it just doesn't. But a lot of us will we get into that resistance piece at the beginning because it takes practice, and it takes, you're expanding your entire inner being, and you're breathing more air in a different way using muscles you've never used probably before. So yeah, when things feel hard, people no, it doesn't work for me, and they just move on, and you'll miss out on the power of it. So again, maybe it just doesn't work for you, and that's totally cool.
Yeah, because I do other breath work, so
yeah,
and that works just fine.
And I don't get dizzy anymore. I did the first few weeks of doing it, and I don't get dizzy at all whatsoever.
The other breath work that I use, or I don't get dizzy. I go deep into whatever I need to go deep into, and it really works for me. Breath of fire, I've done it a few times, and there's something for me to look at there, and which I've been working on. So, but I figure when I'm ready, it'll happen.
Yes, absolutely, it always does. All right, the fourth one is the power of health. You might be like, how fire can burn me? Like, how is that good for my health? You have heard of the term fire in your belly? Mm-hmm. You need fire energy. You need fiery foods, a little spice in foods, little pepper, different things, cinnamon. All these things warm your digestion. They help assist in digestive stuff. So if you're having any autoimmune stuff, leaky gut, digestive issues, any stomach issues, bloat, all of that, fire is what helps with that. So you can
give it a little heat.
Yeah, give it a little heat. You can ingest some of those things. Also, fire with your health is vitamin D from the sun. Warmth provided from fire and the sun that you need to maintain your body temperature so you obviously can survive and don't freeze to death. It helps with, if you go out in the sun, besides just the vitamin D consumption, it also helps strengthen up your immune system. So fire is really vital to all different aspects, just as water is to hydrate us. Fire is to digest those foods so you can get the nutrients you need, the sun to get the vitamins you need, the immune system so you can keep yourself safe and protected from external sources. And if you're too fiery, you'll get the heartburn and that type of stuff.
Oh.
So now you're, if you think water calms fire, milk is good. If you're fire peppers, how it chills that out. You use all the different elements to find a nice balance with that sort of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So the last one is the power of protection. We already mentioned this a little bit with the health, where it provides the warmth that you need to survive, the heat you need, the energy you need. The warmth I would liken to everyday life, to kindness, warmth, compassion, that type of thing. The heat I would liken everyday life to your fire, your passion, your inner, your will to bring your will manifest into the outer world. And then energy is just energy. It just is. So all these things can translate from what they are symbolically and elementally into how it transforms into our life. And fire you can use, if you've seen people, light fires to protect them at night so people know where they're located. or, as a beacon so people can find them. Like fire is all sorts of different ways to protect you and help you with survival. I like to light candles when I do work sometimes for protection, like when I'm calling in my spiritual team, or I'm calling in protection to like bubble me in whatever needs to be there to protect me for my highest good while I'm working.
Yeah.
Fire also burn things away. Write on a piece of paper what you don't need anymore. Burn it. Fireproof, fire safe containers. Be prepared. Don't just light a piece of paper up in your house and then be like, oh shit. And yeah.
And you can do these things, and you don't have to be like physical things either. You can visualize doing these things
Absolutely.
as well. If you don't have the ability, to have a fire or anything like that, you visualize that. One of the things that I do is when I'm doing my work, I go into a very warrior mode, and a lot of that warrior energy is very fiery. So I envision a lot of the sword or the armors or being very fiery, so that it helps me get through whatever I'm working with or on, and then I visualize my sword being in flames, cutting the things that needs to be cut, and putting things into place based upon that. So if you can't physically do that, visualize it. It has the same effect, because this is all about energy.
Right.
Same
all these
effect.
things are just tools, like candles and all that stuff. They're tools to help you focus and help you like embody the feeling of it. But yeah, it's not necessary. It's all energy. So you can completely do it visualizing figuratively. Like it doesn't have to be
definitely focal, because it's just like all these things are spiritual tools that we come with that we forget we have. So that's why we're here to remind you. Take a little peek in your toolbox, because it's all there.
It's all there, everything you need. And as you're very warrior, I'm very witchy. Mm-hmm. So the wand is a big fire element. A lot of witches use that to, just point to things that like you with your fiery sword. The wand does the same thing. Yeah. Fire can be all-encompassing. It is an all-encompassing energy. So to talk about it, sometimes it feels consuming. Mm-hmm. So understand that if you're feeling too angry, too fiery, too much anything, too spicy just in general, water to help tone it down. If you're feeling too low, too lazy, unmotivated, all those things misaligned in that way, air scoops it right back up.
Give it some spark.
If you need to like bank the fire at night because you still want some coals in the morning, but you want the energy to go down, like to help you sleep, earth helps you bank a fire. Like all these different elements can really work together.
You just kind of, while you were talking, I was picturing like we're like embers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
And that's where we kind of sit the majority of the time until a little bit of air situation
sparks
comes
it up.
So that's a little bit of air gets you going. Most of the time we're embers, and we sit there and we do what we need to do. We create what we need to create, and once in a great while we spark it up. Blazing fire.
And know those people that help fan that flame and help support that, or those places and spaces that you can go to help those embers grow when it's time to do that. Mm-hmm. And also identify the people, places, and spaces that are like somebody throwing a big old bucket of water on top of your embers, because that'll happen a lot of times. People that we've coached will see like go home for a holiday or something, and they're so excited about what they've been doing, and they start telling people, and the aunt or something is like, basically throws a bucket of water on what you were super excited, and just they keep you down.
Yeah, something to definitely be aware of, because you don't want to take that on.
Exactly.
That's the relative's issue, not yours. They're just, projecting, if you will.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So do not own that.
Right.
And also look at parts of yourself. What parts of yourself, maybe it's just like ego trying to protect you, but what parts of you is like dampening that spirit so that you don't like start running with scissors with whatever your new passion is, because it's trying to keep you safe. Mm-hmm. But maybe it's trying to keep you safe, like is way too risk adverse. So that part of you can be like, no, it's okay. Like, this is time to fan that flame a bit.
Yeah. You could be like me and I say, fuck it, and I run anyway.
Yeah, exactly. You could.
I mean, it's really totally your choice.
Yeah, so use the fire to find your inner cheerleader, find your inner critic, find all those inner parts of yourself, and then also use it to like just send into the fire whatever you want to go up into the ethers to help connect you to spirit, connect you to the universe, surrender to the universe when it's time to do that. It doesn't always have to be you doing. Work in partnership with the universe to bring that passion out. That is the magic of fire.
Yeah.
All right.
I think we're good.
We are.
Be kind. Peace.